Lunch with your fave is brought to you by KFC. Finger licking good. You look like a threat. I'm a threat. Yeah, it's a bed.
Yeah. It's a fresh Friday. You know how we do it. It's lunch time. And it's lunch with your face. Proudly brought to you by KFC Botswana. And today's favorite that you're going to be having on the show, that rather we are having on the show, she already drove through. Me and 𝗕𝗫𝘁𝘀𝘵, is she going to be driving or she's just going to be walking? Hey, and today's guest is the communicator by passion and profession herself, the icon of the year, awarded at the 2023 8th 𝗕𝗂 event the past weekend. It's the former Yarona FM presenter, Miss Jazzelle. A round of applause. I don't know why I'm feeling like I'm in the stage, but a round of applause as you help me welcome the icon herself. Hi, Miss Jazzelle.
Oh, I blush. It's so good to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
This one is for you. Thank you so much for gracing the studio with your presence here.
Such a pleasure to be here, and like you said, on this beautiful Friday.
And I love your air check. I love your drip. Cameras, please capture this outfit.
Oh, are you liking it?
I love it. I love your hair.
Thank you, honey.
You're already here.
No, happy you speak the truth. You've got authenticity. I can feel it from the bottom of your heart.
And if you want to engage with us, WhatsApp us on +267 3911 𝗪𝗃𝘁𝘂𝗵. Any other question that you'd like her to address, she's going to be doing exactly that right here on the show. Icon of the year.
Come on, I need to go and change my profile. Huh?
No,
Icon Award winner 2023 𝗕𝗂. Thank you so much.
8th edition.
Yeah.
Like we just got here and you're already an icon of the year.
Dude, it was the first time I've ever had the privilege of attending the 𝗕𝗂s.
Really?
And it was my first experience of the 𝗕𝗂s, and I had quite an exciting time.
All right.
It was very unforgettable. I got to meet, one of my highlights from that Saturday night is I was innocently walking down these steps, and 𝗕𝗫𝘂𝘂𝗃 was walking up the steps with those two guys of his, and he's walking ahead of them, and I'm walking down, Musadika Kiba, and then he stops. He's in celebrity mode, he's in superstar mode.
Yeah.
But this young man, I will never forget this. He stopped and he said, "Dumela." He went back from being 𝗕𝗫𝘂𝘂𝗃 to just being who he was raised to be,
humble,
a young Botswana guy, And then I'm like, "Dumela, wanaka." A few steps later, you don't even know who I am. You don't, you're in a rush to go upstairs for whatever reason, but you literally stopped just to say hello. Blessings upon blessings.
Love it.
Humility. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to balance your humility and acknowledging your own brilliance as well. And I think he's doing great with that. So that was so nice to see him in real life.
And I like how you mentioned Hori. He even have time to greet you. I say, who are you?
Yeah.
Who's Jazzelle?
Oh, you asking me that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am the lioness in the jungle. I was born here in this beautiful country of Botswana. So I'm a typical woman in my 40s. If you know women in Botswana in their 40s, I'm that woman. I just happen to be working in a very visible space, which is the creative sector, the entertainment industry, and communications. Like you mentioned at the beginning, I'm a communicator by passion and profession. That means that's how I make my living. So if I'm not writing an article or a press release or engaging with media, I'm on stage for high-level events. I'm doing public speaking, coaching, trying to get a business off the ground, trying to put together my awards. I was so inspired. You guys taught me so much last time at the 𝗕𝗂s. I mean, I ran out of notebook paper. I was like, so I must invite this guy. So I must try and do this. Okay. It's really tough to pull off awards. So yeah. Communicator by passion and profession. My journey started here on Yarona FM, so that's why this place is so special, and it always means so much. It started, babe, in '99 at Grand Palm, because before we had the studios, we just had a hotel room where we were just loading music into the system and stuff, So I'd come after school in my uniform. Shout out to all the boys I worked with. Nobody introduced me to drugs. Nobody tried to sexually harass me.
And I was going to ask you about
to the
drugs,
boys I grew up with.
I love it.
all on my own. All the things I have ever intoxicated myself with, those who know me closest will know better. Those things are all on me. You know, it's nothing that anybody imparted upon me or exposed me to. You know, we were also excited about this new platform for creative expression. And we were just, I don't know how these guys managed to just rally all of us from all the different corners of Botswana that we came, and we all had such a thorough, deep buy-in to this journey that we were going on, you know, a place to reflect youth culture in Botswana, a place to, like I said last time I was chatting with you, a platform for all kinds of creative expression. It was so exciting. And it's so heartwarming to still be alive, Luhle, you know, to still be alive, to watch how much Yarona has grown. I mean, I get emotional every time I see the logo. I was there when it was designed, you know. It's always so exciting meeting all this new talent. Oh, guys, stop me.
No, I love it because you're honestly at home and you feel the part.
It feels great.
Now, you mentioned about how when Yarona FM started and your grandpa, when you walked there from school, you were 16.
I was.
How did that dream come about? 16 and you already have a glimpse idea of what you want to do in life, and every day after school you dedicate your time to making time for that dream. How did the dream come about? What was the influence and the inspiration?
Gosh, a couple of things. Hey, first and foremost, it was because I had already fallen in love with radio long before I ever knew I'd have the opportunity to be a practitioner of radio broadcasting. I had a lot of intimate times in my life where the radio set in my room was my best friend, and I would always be fascinated about how these guys would be able to connect with me. I mean, you don't know me, but you're making me feel so good in these 3 hours. You're playing my jam. I can relate to the things you're talking about. You're informing me. You know what I mean? You leave me feeling more enriched in the time that you part with me. So the curiosity then grew into obsession, which grew into the question, how do they do it? So one day I found an article that was mentioning the fact that a youth-based radio station is going to start up in the private sector. And something sparked in me. If you believe in magic, you'll believe in some of the pieces of my story. Because I was just a chick. Nobody's special beyond any other child's speciality. Yes, we're all special. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not somebody who was earmarked for brilliance. You know, mama le papa ba sna go kgaoganela ka go iragala mongwe le mongwe tota like typical chikelo a mo Botswana wa nthola. But there was a magical moment when I saw that article, and I was compelled to find out how I can get involved, because I love radio. I've been curious about how it gets done. Here's an opportunity to find out, and I'm young. I can reflect the everyday Motswana's experience, you know. So then I made it my business to find out how to get to the auditions. Ended up going for the auditions, got picked, and then they were shocked about my age at some point, and then I gave them a long lecture about you've got to give young people a chance. And I'm still so passionate about that now, being a mother myself to a young person, you know, being someone who's looked upon as some kind of a light keeper for those that come behind me. You know, I'm so passionate about the magic and incredible things that can happen when you nurture young talent from an early age. It's so important, because I look at my journey. I started working on radio when I was 16, and that's when I discovered my passion for the microphone. And then here I am in my 40s, and I literally make a living because of my relationship with the microphone, you know. And yes, I've come to also eventually accept my brilliance at it as well, you know, my capabilities, my exceptional skills, and I can only credit experience to those things. So if when I was 16 people were like, oh, we can't take her seriously, she's just a teenager, let her grow into her 20s, how much substantial time could we have lost in harnessing the skill? Because there is magic that happens when you give me a microphone. I'm actually socially awkward when you meet me in real life. I'm all over the place.
I think it happens to the best of us, eh?
Right?
We're all bubbly and you're the vibe. They meet us in real life, we are bored.
I tell you, but put a microphone. Yeah, you see the bubbliness and everything. You're at home. You remind me a lot of myself in the younger days.
Really,
actually.
I love that. Imagine you are missing out. I'm sorry you're not Luhle today. I'm really sorry, but next time I promise you.
And your name is meant for radio, man. I love saying it.
Thank you so much. I highly appreciate that and adore you so much. And you mentioned let's take a walk back. You mentioned about who you were growing up, the basic chick. Grew up in the 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝘀𝗵. Bunting is a 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝘀𝗵.
It is.
You know, family problems, parents divorced. I think there's one thing that people don't talk about so much is how you get to cope and get over your parents splitting. And
Yeah.
we have covered that with it happens to everyone. But does it happen the same way to everyone? You know, how did you get over being a child and your parents ba kgaogana?
I mean, it wasn't easy, and it wasn't without its drama. But the first thing I can definitely attest to our survival, myself and my siblings, is the power of the unity of family. It is so important to value those relationships with extended family, because you know when things fell apart, there was gran, there was aunt. You know, I lived with my aunt and my uncle for a substantial amount of time. They practically raised me through my terrible teens, you know. But, you know, clearly that was meant to be, because I ended up having big ideas about radio. So you can tell what kind of big thinkers I was being raised by, you know. So I think extended family contributes greatly to the, shall I call it, cushioning of the impact, because it's quite a tremendous impact. It shifts a child's reality. It can kind of affect a child's understanding of their own identity as well. There's a lot of existential questions that come in. I feel like that's where the seeds of depression that we tend to deal with in our 30s is born, you know, the separation issues and things like that. But extended family is very key. And I know that today is such a modern, fast-paced world.
True.
You know, 90% of people are getting. Okay, let me not put statistics that I haven't actually read. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
You know, but what I'm saying is a significant amount of people will get married without, you know, extended family involved, and or you'll move to a different place and say, oh, we don't need our family, but honey, you do.
You do.
I promise you. You know, as much as some of them drive us crazy, yes, you can keep your healthy distance between yourself and certain people, if it really is clear that they're not good for your health. But otherwise, do spend time with your family. Maybe you've made your wealth and you feel like you don't need those guys back in 𝗙𝘁𝘁𝘀𝘄𝑚 or 𝗘𝗽, but you actually really do. You know, there's a reason why God has had you sharing the same blood or the same lineage. So
With some people.
yeah, extended family. With the time that I have my angel, I'd say extended family. And yes, the parents have a responsibility to ensure that children have a confident understanding of their identities when parents part. And Dad was great with that. You know, he had a couple of kids. Papa was a Rolling Stone. You know, I love you, Daddy. You know, I love you, but I tell no lie. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Today I have a collection of beautiful siblings from various mothers.
It's a collection for me.
I say that with so much love and respect. You know, we must acknowledge ourselves with all our
true.
colorfulness, you know. I raised my child to understand that I'm not perfect, you know, and she's come out pretty all right. So yeah, Dad raised us the same way. So, you know, he was a Rolling Stone, but he made sure all of these kids knew each other.
Yeah.
To this day, I have a very healthy relationship with some of these people, you know, because he made sure we still knew each other. And he made sure we adjusted as best as he could. Mom did the same thing. She tried to help us understand we're still beautiful, worthy beings just because Dad ain't around anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a mix of, yes, while you're dealing with your pain, help your children through it, but extended family is very critical. I don't know where we would have been without grand uncles and aunts.
I like that, and I like that you really acknowledge also currently we're staying in what kind of era. You know, it's a big hectic. My parents divorced. I hardly talk about this, like close to never talk about it.
Look
It
at
took
us
me
today,
9
you
years.
and I.
Yeah, you know, it took me 9 years to get over it. And also the hard thing was in that 9 years, I had the most amazing relationship with the both of them. And
Right?
it just didn't make sense why these two people can't make it work. You know, and I could see it can't work, but I'm like, come on, man. And I do have my relapses, you know, when I'm going through it, I'll call my dad and I'll say, so you left, you know? And then that's just a conversation that we can't even end anyway with it. Or someday I'll ask my mom, so you left, you know? It's and I like that you touched about that part of finding your own identity.
Yes.
It also took me forever to just realize I am who I am. And part of who I am was also because I just woke up one day and I said, I'm not going to let my family business identify me as that girl that's in her corner, in her shell, who writes lamenting poems, sad suicidal poems because of what she goes through. And it was a hard thing. Because some of us don't really grew up with that support of extended family. My family always saw me as the strong child till date, you know. And the time I really broke down was 9 years after the divorce.
That's incredible.
And
Luhle.
family were like, how? Like, how are you
Some of
breaking
these things
down
take time.
9
Why
years
not
later?
some of the greatest things take. I brew.
Yeah.
I'm a slow brewed brand myself, you know, and I take time with things. I take time to process things, and I do. There comes a point where you're like, okay, can I deal now?
Yeah.
you know. But I must say to you that a lot of what you've said had me beaming with pride. And I believe your parents are both very proud of you as well. And I'm also proud of your parents by extension.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to come to the understanding that perhaps to be better parents, perhaps to be better individuals, we need to be apart. It's not an easy thing because nobody goes, into a relationship to part.
True.
But we've got to accept when it comes to that point where it's like, you know what, actually we could function better. But now when you had access to both of them and you've gotten to know both of them, perhaps there wouldn't have been an opportunity for that had you stayed with them. And sometimes it's not healthy.
Legit.
If there's a lot of issues and we're not letting go.
I think also,
what's this connection you and I have?
We have a strong one.
Patricia, I'm KFC on a faras. I need a
no, okay, we are going to sponsor us.
Hello, Black Label.
If you just tuned in when I'm this is the good life. This is the good life on Yarona FM, and it's time for lunch with your favor. Our fave for today is Jazzelle. Definitely my fave. I don't know about you, but if you want to let me know that she is your fave as well, do WhatsApp us on +267 And earlier on, somebody sent through a WhatsApp. This was for you.
I'd love to hear it. I missed it about radio.
I can't wait for Jazzelle's interview. The legend herself.
Oh, but
that just made me feel like if there's one thing I'm doing right, it's lunch with your faves. All right, now let's take us through being a Yarona FM presenter. How long did you become the presenter, or how long have you been? Did you stay in that entertainment industry, in the music industry rather? I can oh hey, you're now MC for corporate events. Hey, you're the lioness in the jungle. What?
True story.
Come on now.
Raw.
Yeah, how did what other challenges did you face actually while you're at it?
Okay, first question, how long was I active for? Well, I started on 16. I only left after from 5 because I was being encouraged.
Your KFC is here.
It's also good. Thank you so much, Ms. K. So I spent 3 years. You must understand, my first year, I immediately fell in love. I didn't know for sure that I would get into entertainment. Actually, I wanted to be either a psychologist, or I wanted to get into the army, or I would be a doctor.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that I thought, or a lawyer. Those are the 4 things that I thought I would get into, But my first year with Yarona FM, I completely helplessly fell in love, and I discovered this is what I want to do for a living. This is it. This is my thing. This is what I came here for, is to somehow work in the world of space of communication, connecting with people, and I'll figure it out along the way. So it let us know herself from my family sat me down and said, it's very nice. And because I'm at Cape Town, of course, I found my way to the campus radio station. So that made me breathe better, because you feel like you can't breathe if you're far away from a microphone for too long, Yeah, so then I came back when I was pregnant, and I was in marketing. I was in the marketing team, and I was working on the morning show, and me and the guy didn't get along at all. People used to listen to the show just to find out what we're fighting about that day. It was so funny. Well, it wasn't funny back then. It was very serious, these arguments we would have, On
air.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I don't know if they still have the tapes. I wouldn't mind listening, actually. I just wonder what that was like. Owen would know everything about it, because poor Owen was our programs manager, and he's the one who brought this to us. What I said to you about people would listen for this. He'd sit us down after shows and say, guys, what are we going to do about this situation? Do you know right now we do have a decent listenership, but it's because people want to know what you're going to be fighting about today. It was so silly. It was just, oh God. But anyway.
Who's this guy?
What was his name again? Bless his soul. I'm no angry person. Why 𝗕𝘁𝘁𝗵𝗵? Okay, I'll tell you his first name. George. No hate to any Georges. Gosh, what if my next boyfriend's name is going to be George? But there was a chap called George. We just didn't get along, I was heavily pregnant, and he was just his own character, and we just, Lord. Yeah, so that was the morning show, and I spent about, 2 years here. Went back to school, and then at some point in my life, I joined the marketing department again for about a year or 2. Yeah. Challenges that I've had... Oh, my dear sister. Hey. Challenges, I think, maybe would have been things that I look back on. I wish I had learned more that this was really, really going to be a long-term relationship, me and this microphone thing.
Yeah.
I would have invested so much more into alignment with it. For example, I probably would have gone to study something technical so I could understand the equipment better. We had amazing trainers here that helped us understand how to manage the desk and stuff. But if I'd learned it, goodness knows how it would have amplified my craft even more. Although I did study public relations, which helped me to understand the science of communication, because my communication is very psychological. I go deep into the brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, challenges, we didn't really have that many challenges. I mean, there wasn't really a radio industry benchmark, so I can't say money was little, but yeah, it could have been better, but everybody wants their money to be better, you know?
True. Hey,
We didn't really have budgets at that time. Some of us, it was our first jobs, so we're just happy to develop our careers, I met some amazing people. The biggest challenge for me really was my psychological health when I parted with Yarona, because I was never ready to part. I had to leave. I didn't want to leave,
why did you have to leave?
No, it's very nice for we are very happy for you. Put out Cape Town. Can you imagine you found a family, you've fallen in love, you know what your career is, you love your show, you love your listeners, and then bang, you have to go. So I became like that absent parent of radio, and it's kind of like a dark cloud that followed my career for a while, because I worked for other radio stations. I'm constantly having to apologize to my listeners. First, every time I meet people who used to listen to my show, eventually I feel like that absent aunt or dad or mom. Eventually it's, it wasn't me, and it wasn't your parent, it wasn't, it was just that time that I loved you always, and I'm so sorry I left. You know
what's funny is I genuinely think, I used to think, because being being they don't understand other things. I generally just think Botswana parents back in the days, it was just hard to imagine radio ile career.
Yeah.
Hobby I mean, you're already working. What's going to do what?
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me. I finished my Form 5, and I remember my mom was like, no, currently ga hiriwa ko mining occupational health and safety first of all I had to ask because I grew up being this high-heeled girl formally. So I always imagined myself waking up in the morning in my Grand Cherokee, the 2008 model, driving to work. Now mama ke ona le contract. Some of us feel like we carry those on our shoulders. So we need to acquire the wealth that makes parents sleep better at night. Honestly.
So that bana habatsana mo industry at least ra itse tato ha khwetsa range in 6 months. So ke leboga di client tsa rona ba eleng gore o itse mala ba client o ile gore ke wela habatsi mo stilong. And nyame my sister ho itse ya ka o tlo gore tsamaisitsa tiro yana gore betse bo ka re tlo he nyame ke a leboga khaitsa diaka nna ke setse ke tloetse gore nna le kgaola madi ka 𝗙𝘃𝗲𝗃𝗃 hala ha o 𝗘𝗽 o tshwantse gore o bota wa go tenya gona budget nna ka tsa bo kananyana kana exposure no a re itekeng le rona re simoleng go duella talent e khona go reka di Grand Cherokee e khone go nna le mantlu go phakalane ya ka a bia bua gore re dule rotlhe go phakalane wa bona rotlhe re batla go tshela ka V wa bona, but V is very special, but he mustn't be special. The level of wealth that V has, it should cut across all the brilliant talent in this country. So maybe we must all do better.
Copy and paste.
Because I'm going to make sure this wealth is spread. It's industry too much. You don't have a lot of time, but the time that you have here, so that's what drives me, honestly. That's what drives me.
Love it.
Is I'm just trying to use the time I've been given by God,
use it right, So there's this amazing speech that you mentioned, about your daughter. I like that you talked about you being pregnant and being on the breakfast show. And you mentioned about being pregnant and your daughter loving the music you used to play when she was in your belly. Take us through the speech.
nyame we lebella mo Facebook nna ka ne ke libile maloba le hanne ba nkhabata ba re khiba Jazzelle 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 ne ka apere 𝗕𝗃𝗃 la ntenne ba
I didn't notice what
the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 I'm
talking about 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃.
when I grow up. Hey, ngwana ka no re. Hey, video ga teng speech sa me le go lebella mo Facebook I was so touched because when I was kind of sitting where I was sitting, I couldn't quite hear when 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and Anna started talking. And I think it's because I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, they got 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and Anna to talk about me. I mean, when you look at Anna, she's the kind of person, I've been calling her Anna since she gave me the Icon Award. I feel like I can address her like that, But
she a girl like that.
I'm so used to introducing them when I do their events. I'm the one who prepares their introductions. Then they come and talk to their people, in their very high level capacities. So to have one of them speak about me, I was like, oh my god,
you know me
she
like
knows
that.
my name. Like I need to know who wrote that for Anna. Did she write it herself or who wrote it for her? Like I'm so touched. 𝗕𝗃𝗃 knows me well enough. I mean,
to write that for himself.
Yeah, he raised me practically. He had to be my dad during my first few years of my job. Under his incredible leadership. But like and I cried when I listened to them properly. I was really touched. It meant a lot to me. You go through your journey and you're so busy trying to make things happen, you don't realize other children are watching and you haven't reached your own goals yet, but actually you've done significant enough to be acknowledged by your peers. I feel like that's what awards do. Some of us are so busy on the race, we don't even realize. We're like, we don't qualify for this, and people are like, oh, stop your lorry 2 minutes, come on. Look at what you've done so far. It's mean a lot, It's mean a lot and it's encouraging. So speech le tla se bona mo di Facebook tsa di Yarona FM mehela ne ke bua gone gore when we used to play music in the studio, I used to be worried that my daughter would have hearing problems because we played music so loud, and I was one of the most guiltiest people for that. Funny story, we do that in our household today. I think all of our neighbors can't stand us. They're all praying for us to move out. Don't worry, neighbors at the flats, if you're listening, this is your neighbor.
We're moving soon.
Yeah, we're going to play music tonight, guys. Just deal with it. It's a Friday. But don't worry, we will move, okay? We'll make sure we have space to play our music. So anyway, because she's my housemate, my daughter, right?
Yeah.
Hello, young lady. But anyway, so I was worried that this child is going to have hearing problems because the sound was so loud. So we played a lot of 90s R&B and hip hop and 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. That was our playlist, right? This child, when she gets into her teenagehood now, okay, so she was born, she had perfect fingers, perfect eyes, nose, everything. Child could hear. I clicked my fingers, she looked. I was like, we are good.
They were good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
She starts now exploring music tastes. She'll come to me, Mommy, do you know this artist? And I'm like, girl, that's Aaliyah. Comes back to me, Mommy, do you know this artist? Oh, too big. Go to kantanyana me ke taole more one o bua playlist ya go fanduka afu ya Yarona FM waits go dipinetse ne re di tshameka tselo ngwana o gora re o dutla sentse a le ka ha wa bana ka gore ke tsone dipinetse a di ratang sente. She likes to crack a joke about she thinks she was born in the wrong era because she wishes she was born in that music era. Do you know what I mean? So it's funny today, to this day, we are music people. We're absolutely music people. So yeah, it taught me how impactful the sounds that your child gets to hear in their formative stages inside your body is. Gore ha le buisana ka teng go botlhokwa, mmino o mo tshamekela go botlhokwa, go le tsone di speech tso di mo tshamekelang di botlhokwa ka gore di tseo somehow di sala le ngwana mo tlheng a golang wa bona.
All right, we have a WhatsApp text from Monte Carlo. I was so touched when she mentioned Badimo, which a number of people never mentioned them.
Make a question. No, the way you read it, you're looking at me like you want me to respond. That was a comment.
Yeah, why touch? I could have it means a lot.
I love you. I really like you. We should go and have tea or coffee or dinner or drinks one day. I like you, girl. Yes. Yes, we're talking. When this country, as a country, Botswana is immensely spiritually wealthy. When we talk about the natural heritage of our country, I include spirituality into it, because this country is so rich. There's some people who think the way some people think, we don't just look at mountains as just mere mountains. We don't look at water sources as just mere water sources. We don't look at places like 𝗕𝗃𝗵𝗵 as just tourism. This country is immensely spiritually wealthy. But certain ways that we have kind of modernized ourselves have got us muting this incredible wealth.
I feel you.
And I kind of get worried if we don't acknowledge it, if we don't embrace it and allow it to come into this modernity. Because we are so naturally spiritually wealthy. Our natural heritage includes some deeper than deep things, man. And if we acknowledge them, we can go very fast. Some of these problems here, they can be fixed very quickly if we just acknowledge our spiritual wealth.
Right,
Botswana.
Your answer really touched Monte Carlo. Oh, send lady crying emojis.
Huggies Monte Carlo Shem.
And then I also have Makumo right here. Hi, Manamai. I know she touched on it, but please ask Jazz to speak more about mentorship and guidance in radio broadcasting. Basically, old radio person debating to new radio. Also, does she mentor mentored young radio practitioners herself? You didn't touch this.
Hey. So kakanya, mentoring new talent. I think there's so many beautiful platforms. I've noticed the radio stations that hire new talent are doing incredibly by way of training them with regards to settling into their various radio stations. I mentioned earlier, I've been trying to pull off the second Good Radio Awards for 5,000 years now. If anything, I'm wealthy by way of experiences. I've learned so much from watching everybody else who's managed to do it, and I've realized actually that what's more important than the radio awards right now is a platform for radio talent to come together, perhaps in the SADC region even. I shouldn't tell you too much of my stories because I think we should act before we speak. But I'll hint at it next year. But the idea is to bring together radio practitioners across the region so we can all just have a skills share, so that we can all go back to our radio stations and be rejuvenated, and have picked up some skills and different ways to do different things from other children, and just celebrate this beautiful art form. And then maybe after that, God will bless the Good Radio Awards and I can finally pull them off,
Love it.
So with regards to mentorship, I'm still trying to build my own journey. Like I said, slow brewed brand. So even though I'm still, minimal with time, I do make time for public speaking, coaching, one-on-one sessions. I do have a few people that I'm exploring mentorship with. I used to think I would have to have those expensive cars for you to wish to get any of my wisdom, but I've been humbled along my journey for people to say, actually, what I want from you don't have to be sitting in an expensive car. You can rock up in the Honda Fit. It's okay.
I
need to hear. So Linda, I've gotten my confidence about me, and I recognize my contribution that I can give. So I'm looking at different platforms. Next year, I definitely want to do an MC masterclass. I definitely want to empower the crop of young talent that I see coming up. We can't all do all MC jobs, and me, I want to do certain things that might not allow me to be doing as much MCing as I'd like to next year.
Sure.
And I don't want us to pull back, and I don't want those who are coming after me to make the same mistakes that I've made along the way. So I'd like to share some of these things with you. So I'll bring us all into a nice place, and then I'll talk my things and give you my secrets, So you'll get that opportunity, inshallah. Modimo ha ka diragatsa se ke se eleditseng for ngwaga.
Modimo ha diragatsang. It's done already.
Okay, from your lips to his ears, from your lips to his ears, from your lips to his ears.
Now, there's one thing you couldn't stop bothering me with this whole week. It's having your music on the show.
Oh,
right?
you remembered. There's two things I miss about being on radio. It's connecting with the listeners and being able to share music. So I was like, you're going to have me for just under an hour. Girl, you better play me some of my favorite songs.
So I'm going to play you Paris is 𝗕𝗃𝗃 featuring who?
TPZ.
Yeah, and African Papi right here on Young FM. To engage more with us, +267 3911066. No, you love us much, huh? 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 featuring 𝗕𝗃𝘁 and African Papi with Paris. I remember when this song was the festive season song. I don't know what this December, because ba release each and every day. What's your festive season song this year?
Shit, na kana gore utsore ke ha ke normal. O go nna itlele gore yone tla bele mo playlisting. One of my favorite songs right now. Anyone who knows me, like, okay, one of my cab guys, my favorite cab guy, just sent me a message. He says he's listening. Hi, 𝗪𝗃𝗀𝗀. 𝗪𝗃𝗀𝗀 knows this. I like it. I'm okay with you. Ke batla pina ile 1. Ke batla pina Honda Fit. Why it's pina Honda Fit? Like Honda Fit, Honda Fit, Honda Fit. Understand?
Yeah,
that is my jam forever for life. It's probably gonna play at my funeral and everything. Yaga omale, understand? Yeah, get a house, Pele Gararo Honda Fit.
Oh,
hey, who go sing it in like a male bed. I think if you are Honda Fit more sponsor, because getting like a study guys and the questions and do Honda Fit by a no time make up in a Honda Fit more Honda Fit woman. So that's my favorite song. I love that song. I love that song. I love the beat of the song. I love dancing to it. I love meditating to it. I love sitting there and just doing whatever I'm doing to it. I love that song. So it's definitely going to be on my playlist. I like to overplay the songs that I like.
Until halal do go tsena.
So ke rata pina Honda Fit, ke rata yone 𝗕𝗃𝘁, ke rata mo go maswe nkgopotsa happy times with different friends. Ke rata pina ya ga 𝗕𝗃𝗁𝗍. That song makes me want to fall in love, bro. Like it just
Do you understand Kalanga?
I don't. I didn't even know it was Kalanga.
Really?
A cab guy told me that. I was like, hey, wopela mona tore sisters. I don't know wopela Kalanga. Next time because I've learned the song words from overplaying it, but I'd love for her to tell me so that in case there's like the I don't know what she's saying there.
I'll translate.
Oh yeah, can you say parents is Kalanga?
Voice note.
That is one of the sexiest languages. Naka. Introduce uncle.
Get that WhatsApp number about women had it. Ha ke ye ko. Ke pata go go smela go malume ba go ba thwahetse mo tsala.
Ya no ra Kalanga lendeleng nemma. We go introduce go ra tata tsama ka Easter.
Easter go ba tsa bila go le November ra kgwedi helela.
A re shop around there.
Ona le khiba ke ga khuba miwa.
Ha wa mpone ke ya pereka ka di yamas.
Yeah, yone. Yone awani.
Ka ke tla go bontsha gore ke tse. Nkile ka MC lenyalo ko 𝗕𝗃𝘁𝘁𝗄𝗏 wa bana. I fell in love with Kalanga people there mon. Gape di blessing ba sa ba go ba Kalanga ha ba itumetse mona di blessings tsa teng ha boela ga borone di strong mona. Because I don't speak Kalanga, but I got some friends to teach me how to introduce myself. So I fumbled through my little introduction, but they just loved it and they fed me and I loved that. I love food and I was given so much food and so much love. So I was so happy.
Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
If there's one tribe that I like their aura in terms of Midiro, ke Batswapong.
Okay.
No Batswapong 𝗪𝗪𝗁 a graduation party, gift 90,000 junk.
Wow.
Junk.
I love how Balete do their thing as well. I don't know if it's because I'm still getting to know more about my Balete identity because I was raised by the Bakwena. So I'm still like learning about the Balete, but it just excites me every time I see them come together and sing, and they've got a beautiful...
Oh, but choir.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the Bakwena do choirs also. We used to go for choirs there by the Kumakwanis.
All right. You are here and you're looking at my tray. I did tell you this is
yummy.
proudly brought to you by KFC, and I'm gonna give you your plate. You're gonna guess the meal that we're having today. Proudly brought to you by KFC. And if you're tuned into the show, this is the exec show to remind you how na lunch. And KFC in a drive-through in a delivery at Airport Junction. All you need to do is touch that dial, order your food, and they're gonna deliver you that KFC. And Bona, be cool like I and Jazzelle. Be cool like I. If you want to be an icon of the year, Jack KFC. Right, so I'm gonna give you your plate right about now. Carry your plate.
This is so cool because KFC is very special and nostalgic for me. Every time I eat KFC, I think of my late uncle Victor Kebakile. He was a soldier, ne? So hello to all the soldiers. Yes, it's that same Kebakile, guys. So thank you, sweetheart. So every time Uncle Vic came to visit us, he'd take us for lunch at the KFC.
Really?
And we felt so special. There was a time when Gran cut off our hair because somebody had put braids on us and she was like, no children of mine are going to have braids until they're good and ready. Imagine. So Mama Victor make ha itlharella ba risa KFC. So hey ha ke bona KFC go yo ke kometse ke gopola Mama Victor me ke a ditse ke itse KFC too much ne ke itse gore ke street wise too.
Is it?
Hey.
Let me see.
Ke dumela ke kometse le be ke bona di chips e be ke gopola no ro ke guess no gore ke ne ka kometse.
Open, see it and guess.
Oh yeah, okay ne ke tshaba gore no ra. Oh no, it's re keng go mo ke a ke tsore milo bidwa mang mare ke a bona gore mo ka ne tsentse be le begara mo. And this is my favorite piece of chicken and my chips.
Is it a thigh? It's a bag of meal.
It's called a burger meal.
It's a bag of meal.
It looks so cool. It's such a clever way to have my satisfaction of having my chicken and chips as I like to traditionally and nostalgically. And then there's the tangy flavors of the burgers. And I love how fresh their buns are.
Oh my God, KFC, if you're listening, this is your next brand ambassador. Change you. I never even go
From one thing to here, guys.
Heaven, I love
Thank
it,
you,
man.
Uncle Vic. R.I.P. Uncle Vic.
I love it. So we're having the bag of meal, proudly brought to you by KFC. I'm having a fantastic moment with my Fanta. I like it. Cool.
No, I'm gonna take this Coca-Cola with me because I still haven't finished that Hennessy you guys gave me from the Yama, so I'm gonna go finish
For
it off.
real?
Yeah, I do things slow, remember?
I like that.
I take my time.
Moment black juice. And we also have a text. Somebody here is asking for a date, for a black juice date.
Oh, that's so cool. Man or woman? Not that I judge. I just want to know what I'm dealing with.
She drinks black juice. Can I take you out for drinks one day?
No problem. No problem, my sister, my brother.
Done.
It is done.
I think this is Stan.
I like it big, so the quarter the better.
KBL, are you listening? Are you listening? Yeah, this is Stan.
No, women can be champions too. These things must be known. Women's can be champions too.
All right, now because we're running out of time, I'd like to
KFC. Sorry, babe.
No, you're very happy.
Hey,
you're very happy. I see you. Are you emotional? Skull! Friday!
It's been a beautiful day. We've been talking about so much. It's just settling in. And I think I get emotional every time I look at KFC. For real, it makes me think of my uncle.
Oh, love it.
Because it was just, it was that moment of, so I connect KFC to feeling good for real.
For real. With family.
Yeah.
You know, it resonates with love towards you.
It's that consistent flavor over so many years. So it's so nice that you got me some KFC, boo. And it's not too much to make me overweight. It's just enough. I can enjoy it without feeling guilty. It's lunch with
your favorite.
Can I eat now? Can I have to wait until later?
Alrighty, any last words you'd like to share with the listener, you know, regarding all things that you've been through, the experience where you're looking to go to, and how amazing you look. I'm not like I'm bringing my African roots vibe.
Yeah, you like me.
Yeah, maybe it's because I like you.
I'm lucky I'm not a fashion police. My beautiful host is, I just want to say thank you again to the Yarona FM family, everybody who was in the room when you decided to gift me with the Icon Award. It means so much to me from the bottom of my heart. It also reminds me, it doesn't allow me to forget, because sometimes life circumstances and life's realities make you forget that you have a crown on your head, you know? I mean, 2 days ago I was trying to be miserable and my daughter wakes up and says, "Good morning, Icon." I had to stop being miserable. I mean, I'm a hell icon. Do you know what I mean? And then I just want to say thank you to all of my listeners as well. It's so heartwarming when I meet all of you. You guys are grown now. You tell me about how you used to listen to me when you were younger, and now you know you're adults, and it's so beautiful to know that I've contributed to your soundtrack, such that our connection is still so strong. I'm so humbled, and I promise you, I'm trying to find my space in this new media platform. I have to do it. Of course, I have to. I have to find a home where I can share one of your favorite voices with you, and my crazy mind, and my reality. reality and the things that I find interesting. So give me some time. I can see how other children are pulling it together. I'm trying to, get my sweet spot, and I'll let you guys know. I'll come visit Luhle and let her know. You'll hear me more often next year. I promise that. And also social media wise, I know I'm the quiet girl in the room. It's taken me some time.
You post beautiful pictures, huh?
I try. Yes, of course. No, my pictures are on point thanks to my photographers. What's up, 𝗘𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗲? Yeah, it's a new currency in our industry. I have to cry. So give me some time. Improve. Watch the space. Alrighty,
now for those who want to engage with you regarding your mentorship programs and everything else that you've planned coming up, where can they reach you? Social media details, your cell numbers, your emails, and Tony, put us on.
Okay, well, you can visit my Facebook page, 𝗬𝗂𝗲𝗍𝒐𝗫. Just write that, and then my Facebook page will come up, Passion by Profession. I think Communicator by Passion and Profession. You'll see some videos there with some public speaking coaching tips, and then you can inbox me. I check that inbox quite regularly because some of my MC clients also reach me from that platform. If you want to see me having a bit of fun, you can visit me on TikTok. I think I'm 𝗕𝗫𝘁𝘀𝗃𝗲𝗃 on TikTok.
I think
I'm still very new. I'm 100% sure I'm 𝗕𝗫𝘁𝘀𝗃𝗲𝗃 on Twitter. I love my Twitter family because even though I'm the quiet girl in the family, they really do sometimes, acknowledge some of my content, and I really appreciate them. I enjoy their content. Gosh, I enjoy the content on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I'm just trying to find my place in this new media world. But yeah. So thank you to all my fans. Thank you to everyone who gives me love. Guys, it's not easy being gifted.
It's not easy.
Human conditioning.
All right, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence right here on Lunch with Your Fave. It's amazing,
it was such a pleasure.
Talking to an icon. Like, it's totally amazing. Hey, the time you started radio, I was just 4 years old.
Oh my, stop. Are you serious?
For real. And 24 years later, I'm interviewing you about your past like that.
Oh my gosh, my career is blessed. South Africa for the festive.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in.
I had so much fun. Thank you, Luhle. I adore you.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the best with your radio career. I'll be listening to your show on a regular basis. I'm going to enjoy my KFC. Thank you so much. Kentucky Fried Chicken. I love you guys. Oh, Yarona FM, thank you. You, thank you. All the listeners, thank you. Everybody. Thank you so
much for tuning in. This is the Yarona FM, and this is Lunch with Your Fave. Proudly brought to you by KFC on The Good Life.